Hi, my name is Sarah Rutterham, and I have been teaching science and math for the last 7 years at Halifax West High School. In this presentation, I would like to discuss grade obsession. When students receive a worksheet or practice problem, the first question isn't, "How will this help my learning?" or "How will this knowledge help me in the future?" It is, "Will this be graded?" Grade obsession is a serious problem. Students are only focused on what grade they receive rather than what they are actually learning and how that knowledge can be applied. Where does this obsession come from? Do grades really matter? I hate it when students ask me, "What is my grade and will this count?" Our society has become so obsessed with getting good grades that we've completely lost touch with learning for the learning's sake. Society should want to cultivate learners who are able to think independently, be creative, and take risks. But grade-focused systems encourage the opposite of that. What do grades even mean? If I receive an A or a high 90 in a class, does that mean I learned everything that class has to offer? Or does it mean I went to class, participated, did my homework, and performed well on the tests or exams? If someone asks me what I remember from that course, it might be the time I spent studying, or how much homework there was, the friends in the class, or maybe even some concepts that were taught. I performed very well, but performance and learning are two different things. If you were really to reflect on a class, you would think about how that class changed how you think, how it expanded your knowledge base, or how it fit with your prior knowledge. It is bad that students are so focused on grades, but of course, it's teachers, parents, universities, and society who provoke this grade obsession. I wanted to learn more about why society is so obsessed with grades, so that is when I decided to read the book Tyranny of Metrics by Jerry Z. Mueller. Mueller focus in this book is on how the obsession with quantifying human performance threatens our schools, medical care, businesses, and government. In nearly every part of society, the obsession with collecting data and assessing people or organizations based on that data has gone too far. Mueller calls this concept metric fixation, which is the irresistible pressure to measure performance, to publicize it, and to reward or punish it, even if the evidence shows that this system doesn't really work. Metric fixation has consumed a growing array of institutions, including education, healthcare, and government. In The Tyranny of Metrics, Mueller uncovers the damage our obsession with metrics is causing and gives suggestions on how to fix it. Mueller states, "What can be measured is not always what is worth measuring. What gets measured may have no relationship to what we really want to know. The cost of measuring may be greater than the benefits. The things that get measured may draw effort away from the things we really care about. And measurement may provide us with distorted knowledge that seems solid but is actually deceptive." Mueller discusses how metric fixation affects many different fields, but I was mainly focused on the education system. Metric fixation became dominant in education in the 1860s, when government-funded schools based the performance by testing students on government-developed standards. This focus is still a practice seen in the education system today. Being a teacher in school, I feel like in the last years there has been a push to collect more data. Teachers' workloads have increased, and as a result, the main focus was on results, causing students to be grade obsessed and demand instant results. Data collection has always been important in education, but it should be collected in low-stakes situations where the results give valid information about the student's learning. Data collection can help teachers determine if their instructions are effective or if they need to make changes. It can help monitor how students are doing, discover their strengths or their needs. Society is pushing the education system to use data-driven decision-making. In the article Becoming Data-Driven, it suggests that the method could positively influence the students' outcomes, but only if teachers are trained to use this practice. Who's going to pay for this training? And who has the time? What is most likely going to happen is teachers will be expected to collect this data without actually receiving the training and not knowing how to apply the newfound knowledge. Majority of data collected in schools are based on tests. Tests under the right conditions can be helpful, but tests are usually under high-stake conditions. Standardized tests are one of these high-stake tests. The results can heavily affect students' marks, placements, school funding, and even teachers' jobs. These tests are usually multiple choice or short answer, which are poor measures of students' achievement. They rarely can show students' ability to understand and use complex concepts, and test scores are not reliable because student scores can vary based upon the day, the test, the testing conditions, or their emotional states. The test makers cannot remove all biases from the test, and these high-stake tests cause curriculum to be narrowed to just what's on the test. These tests put pressure on teachers to teach the test. They feel so much pressure to boost scores that they will even cheat or label low-achieving students with disabilities so that they do not write the test and affect the marks. The quality of education suffers greatly when relying on these high-stake tests. Data collection is common in school, but only focusing on it can take away from the real learning. There are better ways to evaluate achievement and ability. Some examples that teachers can do are to make observations, documents of student work, and performance-based assessments. What if we didn't give marks? Ashley Lamb Sinclair tried this with some of her colleagues. As teachers, we see that grades have a negative impact on students' mental and emotional health. Many students base their self-worth on their academic achievements. For 6 weeks, Ashley Lamb Sinclair did not give grades. She found that students were more engaged, worried less about point values, and because assignments were low risk, they approached them in a more positive manner. Over this 6-week period, she focused on communication based on observation. She contacted parents, and everyone seemed very supportive. But as soon as marks went up, that bubble was popped. Students and parents who were benefiting from feedback were now questioning why they didn't have 100 in the class. Their shift went from learning because of an intrinsic motivation back to extrinsic motivation of grades. Students and parents were arguing over 1 or 2 points. This is just one consequence of grade obsession. The fixation on grades produces anxiety, cheating, worrying, and unhealthy competition. But what can be done? How can we make changes so that students focus more on learning? Teachers are the ones at the front line of this battle. What do they need to do? And would you do it?